Welcome to 1 Million Cups Kansas City. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. 1 Million Cup communities gather across the country every Wednesday to share presentations and make authentic connections. 1 Million Cup events are free, open to the public, and always have coffee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Eubanks. I am a 1 Million Cups organizer, so thank you all for being here today. If you have not already, please scan the QR code and sign in. We want to make sure that we capture everyone who is here today. Also, if you need the Wi-Fi, here's the Wi-Fi info. But I'm going on to the next slide. So we want to say thank you to our organizers. You think I'm funny? This is good. We're going to get somewhere today. Thank you to our organizers, but also thank you to our sponsor that provides the venue, the coffee, the cookies every single Wednesday morning. So round of applause. Thank you to the Kauffman Foundation. So about the Kauffman Foundation works with a community of entrepreneurs to support education, increase opportunities, and create spaces that allow people to learn. So it's very on brand that we continue to meet here, as 1 Million Cups was founded out of the Kauffman Foundation. So raise of hands, who has never been here to 1 Million Cups with us? I love it. Welcome. So 1 Million Cups is volunteer led. And so you'll see some organizers floating around the room designed to educate, engage, and connect entrepreneurs. So what we're going to do today is there's a lot of excitement outside, and we love that. We're going to bring that excitement inside. We're going to have two presenters that are both fantastic. I've met them. 6-minute presentation, minutes of Q&A. And here we promote authentic connections. So providing feedback, any connections that you can make to the presenters, synergies that you think of as they're presenting. We're going to hear stories and presentations today, not pitches. So that's another space that makes us different. So organizers, I know there's not many of us today, but can you raise your hand if you're an organizer? What? Turn up. Okay, this could be you. You see these hands in the air? This could be you too. So if you are ever interested in becoming a organizer with 1 Million Cups, please reach out to one of us that raised our hands. We're always accepting applications for organizers. Scan the QR code or ask one of us. So guiding principles, we talked a little bit about this. So our goal, flat out, is to support entrepreneurs. Your role, to offer thoughtful communication as they're presenting in the feedback time and the Q&A. Curiosity over criticism, collaboration over critique, actionable, kind feedback. I just heard it. Whose phone was it? Raise your hand. It was yours, wasn't it? Please silence your cell phones at this time. I'm going to do the same thing with you. Some people ignore us every single week, and then we hear it. It's not going to be you today because you're all silencing it, right? Amen. There you go. All right, so now that we have done that, we've gone through all of the housekeeping. It is my honor to bring up Jeremy, the founder of Touring Tea.
Good morning. I'm Jeremy Bredemeier, founder of Touring Tea. Thank you for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Touring Tea is a mobile golf simulator. So I took a golf simulator and I put it in a trailer. The market's booming, everybody's loving golf, and now I'm bringing it to you. For me, the whole premise of it was corporate events suck. With the raise of hands, how many of us have been to a corporate event that was a picnic and you played cornhole? Now, how many of you could actually remember what company you were even there for? Right, exactly. That's what I'm here to fix. To me, experience is the key to remembrance. The mobile golf simulator is a premium mobile golf simulator. It's got prestige branding. We do closest to the pin competitions. That incorporates most everybody. My whole plan with when you book me is to help activate the trailer. Instead of just renting me out, me opening it up and saying, hey, let's play some golf. Let me help you get something out of it. I really push companies to give something away, whether that's an hour of advisory time, your product, or temporary service. That activates more people into the trailer. What that also does, that gets more people to fill out the liability waiver. Why that's great for you is there's a little box. They click it, it says message me. That's how we reach out to them if they win a prize. It also allows me to give them give you their information as lead capture. So if you have an event that brings new clients, It's a way to capture leads besides just, run-of-the-mill networking. Recently, we've done South by Southwest. That was in Austin, Texas on the far right. Shout out Taylor. That was a great event. That was 4,500 people. We were there for 2 days. It was a 17-hour trip there, 18 hours back. On the left, we were with a wealth management firm at a fundraiser for the Kentucky Derby. Great event. Right now, my biggest challenge, as I just launched in January, is where do I put my value? How do I express my value? And do I drop my value in order to bring in more business in the beginning stages? Maintaining value while maintaining prestige. I run into this objection a lot. I really target corporate companies and I hear, that sounds awesome. We don't have any events. I run into that door a million times. And how do I go around it? Do I offer them a turnkey solution to run events? Do I try to convince them why they should run events? Or do I move on down the road to the next and hope they come back? Work on getting higher quality leads. Obviously, AI scrapers and things like Claude and Apollo are just not giving me the return I need. Doing a lot of networking and face-to-face and working through my network and all of your networks, hopefully, is really the best way to get leads, but is there a better way to get those? What I've tried so far is doing introductory offers. So lowering my price temporarily and letting that be known. This is a one-time offer. It's getting my foot in the door to curate a relationship, as well as doing trial events. So you can imagine how that goes. You give somebody a cookie, they take it, they run, they don't come back for another cookie. I do dynamic pricing based off event liability. A 50-person event is going to be a lot less liability than a 4,500-person event halfway across the country. That's starting to resonate really well, rather than just offering an hour rate. I have a new fundraiser model, charities and nonprofits, that I charge a fee to come out, but it is a lot less than what it would be to rent me out the whole time. And then we charge people to play in the simulator with a prize at the end, with portions going to charity. So it helps me win, helps you win. Lessons I've learned is I drop my value drops. Negotiations fizzled out when we start going back and forth on price too much. And I start to feel the pressure of offering a pro bono event. If I really want a relationship, if I really want to work with this company and they're pushing back on price, I start to feel the pressure of I really want to work with you. I want to create this relationship. I should offer you something for free. Free gets me nowhere. Conversations I am asking for you today is, do I maintain my value and risk losing business, or drop my value to establish these relationships in the early phases of my business? As well as, do you lovely people have any connections for me? This is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm scaling. I really appreciate your time today.
Okay, so now we're going to open it up for Q&A.
I just want to say what an awesome presentation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I thought you did a great job of articulating everything that you do and how it's beneficial and the challenges you face. And you're very direct. And I feel like that's a real strength of your company, is being able to sell this concept. So I don't know, that might be one of your strengths right there. It's just believing in yourself enough to be like, I can walk into any room and tell them, well, hey, you guys need touring tees. You guys need us at whatever function you do have.
Right.
This is why. I think you're a great salesman.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's the
I
goal.
wanted to say that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Awesome.
Curious, when the event happens right here,
Thank you.
are you personally there?
Yes,
Do you play golf?
I do.
Are you good at golf?
I'd like to say so.
So curious, maybe some value would be, rather than trying to give away something for free, just say, hey, what I'd love to offer for free as some extra value is myself. I'm not a professional, but I dabble on Sundays. I can be there to offer some golfing, like coaching. Maybe you could say, hey, I'd be happy to help you, improve your swing.
Right.
Rather than offering a free event, you could say, I could offer you some free golf coaching. Maybe that's just, even if 100 people walk in, maybe no one takes you up on it, but even to help sell it, you could say, hey, I'll be there and I can help someone with their swing. Maybe the decision makers, if there's someone who plays golf themselves, they're thinking, well, this is kind of fun. I pay a coach anyways. Why not get some free coaching here? So it could be a little extra value where it's not free, but you're offering your personal golf expertise because you're already there.
Right. I really appreciate that. That brings up a great point too that I did not mention. About 35% of the people that swing in the trailer often tell me I've never golfed before. And I always ask them, why now? Why did you do it here at Touring Tee? And they felt it was safe. It was comfortable. They weren't at a driving range with 100 people all watching them. It was fun. I did grow up coaching, doing a lot of kids camps, teaching youth camps golf. So I do offer a lot of coaching in the trailer if people ask for it. So I do like that idea. Another model I've been pitched by an advisor was incorporating more women into golf. Companies are really trying to do that. They feel there's a large gap in the gentlemen go play golf while the women hang out at the office and they want to get more active in golf. My personal coach is actually a woman. And so I've been pitched the idea of bringing her out and pitching to companies, hey, let the women come out and get free lessons. Bring it to your corporate office and offering that to help grow the game in the corporate space. So I really appreciate that feedback.
Hi, my name is Gordon and I'm a volunteer for SCORE, who mentors entrepreneurs. I'm interested as to how you got those contacts at South by Southwest. I mean, what is your marketing program and what has worked for you so far?
Well, you're looking at my marketing program. It has been about 6 years of just networking and growing my network, working through people's networks and gracious connections. Taylor actually helped link me up for the South by Southwest connection. So I really appreciate that. And the biggest thing I've been taught by my biggest role model, my father, was every connection's another connection and to really value those as much as you can. So when she hands me a connection like that, to make sure I execute, she's giving me a piece of her hard work. She earned that connection. So being really diligent with how I use those relationships has helped me. My current marketing strategy is all organic, really pushing through social media and, like I said, organic connections. So just with bootstrapping everything, spending $5,000 a month on ads isn't in the budget right now, but growing organically. And I like to say that everybody is a lead for me because when you come to an event, you either own a company, work for a company, or know somebody that does that would want this.
Jeremy, good presentation. You're a smart guy.
Thank you.
You impressed me last week here. Your presentation was a little different than we normally hear. You went right into the ask part. What you need to be successful. Can you tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey? What do you do for a day job?
Well, this is it. I'm full-time with this. I'm all in. I guess I can really start with my father. My father's a businessman and I got to grow up watching him. If I was homesick, I was home watching him on business meetings, learning how to interact. My mother owned a uniform business. And so if I wasn't watching him in meetings, I was going to the office with her and packaging uniforms. So there was no day off. I learned the value of hard work quick and networking. Didn't like school. I didn't go to college. I wanted to get in the corporate world. I started selling at Waterway. I'd leave high school early just to go sell more. I worked at a gym, started doing sales consulting, and then did some business development for a growing software company here locally for about 2 years. And in the back of my mind the whole time, it's really just been, work has been a buffer for my entrepreneurial career till I found this idea. I tried doing sales consulting for small gyms and yoga studios, which fared me okay, but it was not scalable. And yeah, it was July when I had this idea. I'd met with a great mentor who gave me a really good framework. He said, low barrier of entry, something you know front to back and you're passionate about, something you can grow, scale, and sell in 5 years. So with that 5-year timeline, the golf simulator market, if you're familiar, all these brick and mortars, there's about 4 franchises in Leawood within a 10-mile radius. The market's at 1.6 billion. By 2031, they expect it to be 3.2 billion. So that fits my 5-year timeline of doubling the market. Now, those are brick and mortars. My goal is to get a piece of the pie a little bit differently, but ride their coattail as that market rises. I refer the market to the old axe throwing. If you remember that in like 2015, 2016, there were 5 or 6 franchises within a small concentrated area, and now there's just one. So I kind of expect the same to happen, and that's how I am where I am today.
Jeremy, I got two comments. First of all, you're really on top of stuff, so I'm impressed and everything. My one comment is lean in on the woman thing. I'm not a golfer. All my buddies are golfers, and my wife would like to learn to golf, but she's just what you said. She's probably scared to go into that, and she's a corporate person. Okay. My kind of question and answer is, you talk about value in places I kind of would say pricing. Are you sharing your pricing? And then remember, value is when you talk about activation, you know, every big company knows how much it costs to get an activation. And I'm saying I would need a lot of activations, my guess is, to cover that. But anyway, what's your pricing? Is that what's coming out? And also related to that, do not drop your price to get business because you'll never get back up.
Thank you. That is the validation I needed today. I've heard that a couple of times and I go back and forth on it. Yeah, I wrote value and price together. In my mind, I feel like they're the same because it's what you're giving is what you're getting. But yeah, I typically stay around the $500 per hour range. So as much as I stay away from, I don't want to charge hourly, that's not how I really like to present it. That's in my mind what it's worth for me, for it to be worth it for me to go to an event, right? The trailer's a lot of liability. I tow it myself. I store it myself. There's a lot of liability moving that. So for me, I can't really justify going under that to move it for an hour. So that's where I stay. And I think that's where I get caught up. And as much sales as I've done, I still find myself with that little anxiety of every time I want to share that price. Just yesterday, I had a lead and I called Taylor. And I said, hey, I was like, do you think I can charge this? She said, absolutely, yes. So thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
You're supposed to have a mic, but I'm going to add something.
Yeah.
You don't want the customers afraid of that price.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeremy. You're really energetic. Is it on? Is it on now? Yes. Hi, Jeremy. Great presentation. You're really energetic. I'm pretty sure the business will do great anyways. Okay?
Thank you.
As I noticed as a barrier, sometimes our clients are saying they don't have events. So I think you should help them out to create an event, like easy, smooth. One thing I would do is I would take the trailer near the company, ask your client to have a whole day of meetings with their main customers, get their key account, their larger accounts, bring them in to show a new product, to show a new offer, new promotion. So the business will already have their clients in their company. Your golfing court, you park outside. After the meeting, they go down, they have 1 hour lessons with golfing, men and women. So what you're doing, you're creating an event. That's what I would do. I have a B2B2C business. I hate giving discounts, okay? I'm all about the value. So what I would do in your situation is whenever they ask for free stuff, you put the free stuff in a package. So you buy larger and you get something free. For example, you have 5 hours, you have your 5 main clients in the afternoon in your business. I will give you 5 hours of my service, but I'm only charging 3. You're getting 2 free.
Gotcha.
So you're getting the whole package. You had 3 sales in one afternoon.
Right. Yeah, I like that model a lot. And I incorporated that and that actually helped me close a sale. I had Zona Rosa has a Summerfest and they'd asked me for 4 hours and I gave them the price and they said, unfortunately, that doesn't fit our budget. And I said, well, where's your budget at? And they're one of the few that, you ask somebody for their budget, they'll never tell you. And they did. And I told them, you know what, that fits 3 hours. And here's what I'll do. I'll give you 3 hours. And I typically don't like to close the doors on people having fun. Your event is 4 hours. I'll throw in the bonus hour for free. When I sent them the contract a week later, they sent me back and said, you know what, we freed up our budget. We'll pay you the full 4 hours. So doing that packaging, I like. And I really like the idea of throwing them event, of pitching the idea. I'm in a circle with a gal that has mobile bartending and a guy that has a mobile giant screen. And so the thought is getting them in a group and saying, how much do you need for 2 hours? How much do you need for 2 hours? Are you okay with me then pitching this to companies saying, hey, you have this great parking lot. What if we throw a watch party for FIFA? What if we throw a movie night for your families and all of that and offering a turnkey solution? So I appreciate your insight on that. And I think I'll start doing that more.
And everyone who comes to play is a new lead for you to start your next one because you're selling B2B.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Yes, I was gonna ask you if you teamed up with like TAP people, but I guess you obviously already have. And then what about the wedding industry?
So the wedding industry, funny enough, my first event was January 4th. It was Engaged KC at the OP Convention Center. I actually finished my trailer the day before in the convention center. So it was a great trial run, middle of winter, getting to be inside. I got scared away from the wedding industry. I had a great advisor who's in the vendor market say the thing about weddings is it'll always be 10x more pressure because it's your job to make their day special. And as much as we can, she just always said there's always going to be more pressure. So I've shied a little bit away from the wedding industry, not to say I'm not open to it, but I've just shied away from that aspect as I know myself in the corporate landscape a lot better than I know myself in the wedding landscape.
Well, the drink companies, work corporate events, like the ones that have taps on them, and they prefer those over.
Yeah, it was a bartending company that I worked with, and she was like, I had to refund the whole thing because the purple wasn't the same purple as her flowers in the drink, so that kind of scared me away.
Oh, wow.
And then we have two more questions, and then that's it.
Hey, Jeremy, how's your company organized? Is it a one-person show here, or do you have other people working with you?
Right now, it is essentially just me, owner operator. I tow it, run it, build it, fix it. But I have a great guy that's helping me on the side. He's a 7-year sales guy, just had a baby, and he's got 4 months paternity leave, and he wanted to get into something creative. And so he's helping me do some cold outreach now. That's really his niche. And he also comes and helps work the events. So it's been great to have him. And I also have my father who will come to events and help make introductions for me. So I would say about 85% of the workload is on me, but then the other 15 is ancillary through them too.
So in your presentation, you referred to liability. And I think what you're talking about is cost plus maybe risk, because something you said caught my attention, and that's that you had greater liability when you drove the 4,500 miles or whatever it was. So is that what it is?
Yes.
In other words, your out-of-pocket costs, what you pay yourself or what you
Right,
don't pay
and-
yourself?
And just in my mind, having that trailer on the road. I mean, it's meant to be on the road, but it's a 3-month wait time. It's a custom order trailer. So if it gets hit, I'm 3 months out of business. And that's really where the liability comes from.
Hi, great presentation.
Thank you.
What do you do when there are no events? What does the trailer, does it just sit?
Currently it's an indoor storage, but when there's a lot of downtime, I know I've got 1 week, 2 week between events. That's when I start to backtrack and I go to those people that first denied me and I offer them some type of trial. In my mind, the trailer is best outside of its storage. So I begin to backtrack. I find companies I really want a relationship with, and I offer them some sort of deal, whether it's 50% off or something of that nature. As much as I don't want to discount myself, it's better to have it out than in. And then just simply driving it around. There are days I will take it and I'll drive through corporate woods, drive it downtown, and I'll take it around. It is, you see, I had a lot of QR codes. On the back of it, it has a 6 foot by 6 foot QR code. So I particularly like to go 10 miles an hour slower. So people are like, who's this guy going 10 miles an hour under? They scan my barcode and then they go right to my lead gen. So.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. When you're doing that, you can actually offer the thing that he said about helping, coaching people. I would, for example, I find difficult to find tea times when I want to go in. And I would love to come in and take a coaching class or two with you and my wife, bring my wife along. So you can actually make money when it's idle and there are no events. And what you're doing is actually teeing up to that. So I think you're on the right track. Just need to push it a little further, and I think you'll get something out of it. I think this is just.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate your insight.
Yep.
Awesome. Another round of applause for.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so I gotta mic it. So last question that we have for you, Jeremy, is what can we as a community do to help you?
I would say just any kind of valuable intros. This is the best way I sell, is by getting to know you and you getting to know me. So any kind of introductions you can make for me would really be the biggest help. So thank you all again for your time today.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. We're gonna keep rocking and rolling to Amy, the founder of GiftWellSoon. Amy.
Hi,
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Can we hear? That's good if I stand here. Okay. So I'm going to shift gears from golf, but hopefully I can still maintain your attention. So I am the founder of GiftWellSoon. I have been a physician assistant for about 18 years. So I've been in the medical field a long time, treated a lot of patients. In 2018, my mom became ill with terminal cancer and I was her primary caregiver. So I experienced what it was like to care for someone day to day. And then several years later, as you see up here in the picture, I had breast cancer myself. So really got to know the space of not only what happens when you are ill, but then what happens when you go home and you have this illness that basically becomes a full-time job for you, and how do you manage that time? And that is where GiftWellSoon was formed. So our mission is to empower individuals to ask for help in these times of need, and then let their community show up for them in a way that is tech-enabled and is very simple. So what do? We are a free online platform. We're a web-based platform. If you think of it like a baby or wedding registry, someone can come, they can create a page, they can share what they're going through. So whether that's cancer, illness, we have some users that have had a house fire, for example, and they need the support of their community. They can add products, so physical products that they need, financial donations, gift cards, and then our most recent integration is a care calendar. So they can say to the people that are local, you know, I need help with childcare, or I need a ride to my medical appointment, or I could really use a meal drop off on these days. They then share that page, whether that's through text, email, social media, and then their community can show up in ways that are meaningful and in ways that they know are going to help. So our whole premise is, when I was ill, I had many, many people reach out and say, let me know if you need anything. We've all said it, yes. It is very difficult to answer that question in the moment, and especially when you're the person going through it, because you can ask, but you may actually get rejected, and then you definitely will not ask again. And so this is a more impersonal way, but it is very personal still, because the person helping you knows that they're doing exactly what you need. So our main challenge that I want to talk to you today is that we are looking for more scalable ways to meet the person that needs our service at the exact moment when they need it. So marketing, most people don't think about what's going to happen when they go through something really hard until it happens. And so marketing can be a bit of a challenge to actually target that person through like social media, paid marketing, that type of thing. What has worked for us really well so far, we have our version 1, which if you go to our site today is what you'll see. We did a lot of product research, a lot of consumer discovery. So we have really collected a lot of data about what individuals need in this type of situation. We've really integrated all of the big things that you might think about. So like GoFundMe, Meal Train, we essentially offer all of that in one site. And so we feel like our product now is really strong. Our version 2 is launching next week. We're very excited about that. We're getting good traction from our marketing and our advertising, but like I said, marketing and advertising is expensive. If we can meet those individuals through more of a partnership type relationship, like healthcare organizations or case managers or nonprofits, that is really where we thrive. And then we feel very strongly about the platforms that we have integrated. So we work with Stripe, we work with Tillo for our gift cards, and we work with Shopify for our products, all very trusted in the market. And so our users feel really strong about, you know, coming to our site, feeling okay that finances are going to pass through that. And that's both the consumer setting up the platform and the donor. So like I said, we learned a lot about our first version, where our friction was. We've improved that. We also learned a lot, again, about like, what were the gaps in support? What did our users want? What did they need? And then our most missing piece was that coordination piece, so that care calendar, and that will be launching next week. And so excited to kind of get that out in the market. The other thing that we have learned is we have a lot of data through the platform. We're one of the only platforms that's collecting that type of data. And what we learned recently through some meetings is that that data is very valuable to healthcare systems. And so that is opening up for us as now like a new revenue source, which I know the first question will be, how do we actually make money? Because it's free. We make money on fees. So there's a small platform fee when someone makes a donation. We have a margin on our gift cards, and we make a retail margin on the products that are sold. But this new data piece is really exciting for us because that is more scalable partnerships. And so that's kind of what we're here to ask for today. So how can we potentially find better ways to connect again with those people that need the platform in the exact moment that they need it? So when they become ill, when they become a caregiver, when they're going through a very difficult moment. And again, like if we can get introductions to individuals that might be interested in partnering with our data integrations. So we're working with KU Cancer Center. They're doing a research project with us to find out like exactly what data a healthcare entity wants to reduce ER admissions, to fill their appointment slots better because people get rides to appointments. But the more people we can talk to in that space, the better we can do to like set up our platform well and really get the security we need for those types of integrations. And that's what I have. Would love to connect with you. We love followers on the socials, and LinkedIn helps us, again, like just share our message. So thank you.
Question. Hello, such a phenomenal presentation.
Thank you.
I'm Stephanie. I love everything about this. So just important background info. I run a nonprofit.
Okay.
Supporting people with chronic illness and disability
Mhm.
in the entrepreneurship space. And one of the things that I was told when I got sick a few years ago by a friend who has a lot of firsthand knowledge is that my illness was completely unknown. And I was told this would be harder and yet so much easier if you just had cancer. Because then people would know what to
Instantly
do,
recognize
right?
it.
Like this is a genius product. And I also think there's incredible application to the people that we're working with, because the people that we're working with are sick for 10 years.
Yeah. Yes.
20 years, right? And it was so hard to figure out how to ask for help. So anyway, I would love to chat with you more about what that looks like, because there's like the cancer connection feels exactly like the right place to be. Those are going to be the people where it's really clear how to connect. And then there's this whole other segment of the population that right now this month is ME/CFS Awareness Month, myalgic encephalomyelitis. It was formerly known as chronic fatigue syndrome. It literally destroys people's lives. And the power of being able to have, there's a lot of background, but the power of being able to have a package deal of like, this is what's happening to me, and these are the supports that we acknowledge or that we think would be helpful for you in this situation would be really, really, I don't know if that's built in there, but like, check the boxes. This is the diagnosis, or this is what's happening with me.
Yes. Yep. So we offer all that. You can share what's happening. You can, and what we've seen so far, obviously we started in cancer because that was the space I knew. We've seen that a registry for cancer patients lasts generally about 6 to 8 months, and they can continue to update and add what they need. But we recently started working with like ALS, and that's been really interesting because those registries maybe start with a little lower number of items, but they tend to add and be more active for longer periods. And so that's exactly, we'll connect. I'll get you my information. That'd be awesome.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I work for Edward Jones, which ALS is our big charity. But one idea I had is normally the first person people call when illness or that stuff sort of happens is their financial advisor. So maybe going to offices and having just a pamphlet there that then the advisor or, the branch office administrator in the front can hand to that family member and say, this is a great way to get your community.
That's a great idea. And I just realized that my co-founder's brother is also at Edward Jones in a different state. But yes, that is a great idea, because you're right. I think estate planners, we haven't really tapped that market, but that is definitely a life disruption connection. So thank you. Appreciate that.
And they do walks all the time.
Yeah.
So it would be great to have a table.
Yeah, we would love that. I'll find you too.
Yeah.
I'll give you my card. Thank you.
Over here, I've got, kind of a two-part question. One is similar to hers in that it seems like there could be opportunity as well to tap into supporting the family members. For example, I'm also in the finance place, but from a different angle. And so like my thought went to, well, what about basic financial education and services and supports to put in place their long-term financial plan and stability? But then the other question is, are you working nationwide? Because I immediately go to 2 or 3 people I've met in the healthcare space, one in particular with like a growing audience across the country.
Yeah, I mean, the platform is nationwide, right? It can be used anywhere. We have focused our efforts locally because it gave us a good opportunity to actually talk to our users. So like KU has been great because we get instant feedback. And if we want to build those partnerships, we can hear, and a couple of the nonprofits we've worked with are more local, but anyone can go to the site today. And again, like better version coming next week. Very excited about that. But it's open to, we can certainly partner with anybody around the country.
That's a connect.
Yeah.
Full names in mind.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Hey, Jeremy here. Kind of based off what Hannah was saying, have you looked into going to just corporate HRs? 'Cause I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of what happens is, somebody gets sick and they leave the office.
Mhm.
Offices are like, how do we get a gift basket? And if they can be connected with you to be able to do this, it would streamline all of their operations.
Yes, so I would love to have contacts with corporate HRs. What I have found in trying to reach out is it's hard to get the right person. Healthcare has been very easy for me because I work in healthcare. So I can kind of go down the line of my warm contacts. In HR, what I tend to see is like I get the non-decision maker. And so I need kind of a better avenue to get the right person to where it can be shared at the right time and they can champion it. So those types of contacts would be very helpful for me. Yes, for us, I should say.
A very nice presentation, very clear, and just want to congratulate you on putting something really good together. The questions I have are not very exuberant, although I am exuberant about the idea. The question is, it seems like scamming could happen because people are exposing themselves.
Yep.
So I was wondering how you handle that. The other thing was, and with your health background, you probably know how to do this, but aren't you skirting the edges of HIPAA?
Those are great questions. We are trying to negate the scam by our users have to go through what's called Stripe Connect. Stripe has its own validation process. So they have to input some basic information, which is like uploading a driver's license. And then that gets validated through Stripe. And so what the trust we try to build is that if you're coming to a page to donate, you are certain that that person has been validated as the actual user that will receive your support. And then HIPAA, we have disclosures that we've gone through our legal team that, so basically when you create a registry, it says we are not HIPAA compliant at the moment. What you share is voluntary, right? And so because they're sharing their own information, that is not a HIPAA, we're not a HIPAA entity at this point. Our next move as we start to partner with healthcare organizations is we need to kind of decide, do we need a different side for healthcare? If we white label, for example, so it becomes KU Cancer Center's support powered by GiftWellSoon, that has to then of course go into a HIPAA entity. And so we're looking for funding for that for our next kind of build in the next maybe quarter or so.
Hi, Sydney Smith, great presentation. I worked in the healthcare space, senior care specifically for a little bit over a decade. So I think about obviously the social workers, director of social services for many of the long-term care communities. But I didn't know, have you heard of a organization or a nonprofit? It's very similar to this called Care Portal.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Care Portal, they are an organization that's nationwide, but they specifically focus on children, vulnerable children, and they coordinate with churches specifically.
Oh, I have heard of, yes, okay.
And so I didn't know, obviously the gifting process will be a little bit different going from faith-based to that, but I do think it's they have a local office. I have a point of contact.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Connection, and I think that there might be some synergies there and some already established relationship with social workers, not just in this market, but other markets.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think if I remember when I looked, I didn't have a contact, so a contact would be great, but I don't know that they have an actual gifting platform, but I know that they support families.
Yeah.
So we might be a complement to their model. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
I've got a couple of comments and then a question. The one that I work with a lot of digital health companies, tech startups. I've got probably two that are in this space and I want to connect you with. I mean, one very specifically has created a navigator for people that are going through cancer and everything else with that. So I think that, and she's done a lot of work on trying to figure out how to connect with those companies. The second comment I'll make is on the whole data
that always sounds attractive. People tell you, yeah, so that's great, it's really valuable, all that. That is a really hard path to create a monetization problem. I mean, I've watched a lot of digital health companies get lots of positive feedback from, and then actually going that path is very, very difficult. The question I have is, when you say you want to create scalable partnerships, can you explain that a little bit more? What does that mean to you? I mean,
Yeah, so using social media, using, SEO and that type of thing is great, but a scalable partnership for us looks like we are partnered with, for example, we present to Mid-America Regional Council. So they oversee many of the social workers and patient navigators. That is a great partnership because those patient navigators are the point of contact when someone is going through illness. They might hear the patient's having a financial hardship and then say, here's your formal resources, right? These are the nonprofits that may be able to help you, but also you can take some matter into your own hands, set up this GiftWellSoon page and share with your community to see where they show up. So it's any partnership that has access to the people that would need our page so that we don't have to spend as much on, marketing and that type of thing.
what is that partnership though? I mean, is it just, you're just a resource that they provide?
So
not
we haven't monetized that at all. I mean, we don't really need to monetize it because if we can just get more users. But what we found is like, especially for the care managers and the social workers, it's just valuable to them because they run out of options for patients. And so when the nonprofit dries up and the formal support dries up, then they just basically tell the patient, like, there's nothing else we can do. This is something else they can do. And so we haven't had any discussions about pay. They've just really seen it as a nice complement to what they're already doing. Now, if someone has an idea of how we monetize that, I mean, we've talked about white labeling too, but then that gets into that data piece, right? Because to white label, then they're going to want to know, will this reduce missed visits and that type of thing?
Good morning, great presentation. To kind of piggyback off what the young lady said earlier, there's a whole sector of financial advisors that work with special needs. And they are especially trained in that. Obviously, they're working with families and things like that who usually have families who are working with extended care type situations oftentimes. So you may want to know that as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
I really liked what someone said earlier about those that are caring for others. I'm my mother's primary caregiver when she decides I'm allowed to be. But it's a very interesting space we're trying to advocate for. And so in the portal, is there the ability for like family members to be added as, that progresses on and sort of, so that's my question, my comment. Someone might be able to help me, like Stephanie, because it will probably be her. But there was a gentleman that came and presented a few weeks back. His daughter passed away and he has a really cool business around memorializing. And so, Stephanie remembers that. So that would be a great connection to link up with him because maybe that could be something that there's a handoff to that other service.
Yeah, so on the platform, you can create a page for someone else. That person still has to validate their identity for security reasons. But we're also working on where you can become an organizer. So if you care for your mother and she then becomes ill, she can appoint you as the organizer so that like if you go in the ICU, you're obviously not going to be checking your bank account and things. So you can become the organizer and you can take over the registry. So yes, it does not have to be the patient going through it that actually sets it up.
In dealing with patients with dementia or things like that, if you catch it too late, is there a way that like a doctor could validate?
So we've had some healthcare, especially the case managers, ask if they could become the organizers. That, again, like we were saying, really gets into HIPAA. And so we have to kind of get the platform a little more secure before we offer that. But that was some interest is for case managers, if they have a load of patients that they need to keep an eye on, that they can then send the link and they can help them organize that.
I was going to say, this is an awesome idea. I like the name too.
Thank you.
It seems really clever and creative. And then I just thank you for, acknowledging a field where most people don't get concerned until they're in it. And so I just acknowledge that, most people are not concerned with this immediately, but whenever you're in that seat, then all of a sudden you're looking for all these options. And here you are, someone standing in the gap for those people who are oblivious of what to do in that moment.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I had a pastor, a friend of mine, a mentor even, who was just like a major leader in the community. I believe this story is very applicable, but he ends up having a stroke. He's holding up so much. He was doing so much in the community, Urban Scholastic Center. He was the founder of it, and he just was helping so many people in the community. And one day he just has a stroke, and he's like, used to be a track athlete. He's top physical condition. And then all of a sudden, here he is, unable to do anything. And it was just interesting to see his response to such a dilemma, because he gets on Facebook and he begins to, he lets everyone know, like, hey, I had a stroke. I'm down, prayers are needed. But then this thing turns into, even in my weakness, I'm still strong. And even when I'm incapable of doing something, doing what I usually do, I'm still going to do what I'm called and created to do, which is empower others. Even through this sickness, I'm going to show forth my faith, and my leadership is going to be seen in this moment, in that I'm going to show courage. And so I just saw him track, like letting people know on Facebook day to day his progress, thanking everyone for their prayers. He started to GoFundMe, and I just remember commenting on one of his posts, like, man, you're a real hero, bro. Like, you're a real hero, because for you to turn this event into a inspiration to others, into something that brings everyone together, and brings awareness, and at the same time, like, just your courage in this moment, it speaks volume of your character, And so I don't know, like, as far as marketability goes, I feel like there's a huge opportunity for testimonials from those who are actually sick to be heroic in that moment, and like you're doing.
Yeah.
Even like you're doing,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, it brings a good point that asking for help is, we identified as a big hurdle to entry, right? And so, we actually have a podcast where we talk about that, and we discuss exactly that like, it is very difficult to come out to your community and say, I'm in a place where I need help, especially most people in this room are very driven and are very successful. And so there is some humility in that, and that can be a barrier, but we feel like the more that it's shared and the more that it's made clear that your community really does want to help, right? Because you'll receive texts, you'll receive lots of outreach, and they mean it. Like, they say, let me know if you need anything, because that's what we say as a society, but they really do mean, like, let me know if you need anything. And so if you answer back and say, like, hey, I created this page, anything you can do to help, that is really a great and beautiful way to really activate that help that you need. And faith-based organizations are another place where we would love to have contacts, because they, as you know, are very supportive and generally creating these types of meal trains and things to begin with. So thank you.
Yeah, back here, Jeremy. I had a question. My grandpa has severe Parkinson's. He's in a home, gets taken care of. And my mother, once a week, tries to reach out to the caretakers and say, what can we do for you? Is there a way to turn this around and set it up in a way for a facility like that, for them to say, hey, we would love a meal on Friday, or hey, we're running low on X or Y or Z, or even, hey, one of our staff members is out pregnant, with the family of the, people here, like your job, because I know she is in close communication with the person that runs the whole facility.
Yep.
And it'd probably just be a lot easier than getting a lot of phone calls from my mother for him to just say, hey, go
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the idea is great, right? And you can basically set up and execute for anyone in your network that you're able to share outside. It would really just be a matter of, like, who's the main leader, who's going to organize the funds, just to keep it secure and making sure it's going to the right place. But we've seen already some really creative uses that we did not anticipate. Like the house fire, I thought was like brilliant, right? Because there's so many things you can put on the registry that people need. And so the more we get the information out there, I think the more we'll see these interesting use cases. No, we don't care at all how it gets used. We just want people to ask for the help that they need, really. Like, from being there myself and knowing how overwhelming it can be when your life is turned upside down, had I had this, I think my experience would have been better. And keeping in mind that I'm a very fortunate individual, right? Like my husband and I had 2 jobs. I was able to leave part-time my job. So like what we have found very amazing about the platform is when we track zip code and like lower income communities, the amount of people that show up for the tasks in those communities is well beyond. Like there's a lot of financial support in higher income zip codes, but it's beautiful the amount of people that will actually show up in lower income communities and help each other. And so that's another place where we're kind of working is like public health entities and that type of thing to see if we can kind of help them identify needs and support each other.
There's one more and the last one.
Okay. This is great, by the way. I think you just gotta find the right people that will help you launch it. I hate to make a profit out of the loss, but is there any way that, I mean, you already have the architecture, but I don't want to spread, your marketing position too thin, but taking this and then if someone does pass away, turning it into grief support for meals, things of that nature. So not saying you need to, spread yourself too thin for marketing, but at least begin kind of positioning yourself. Because like if people do have extra money or if support continues to come in, that primary care provider, whoever it is in the family, or who it might be identified as from the patient, takes over and then that transitions to type of grief support for meal coordination, things like that, as well as going into funeral planning. So again, you already have the architecture layered there, and it's just about extending that engagement, and that also gives you a little bit of power when you do the white labeling to maintain your brand afterwards, because after it's out of the healthcare system, that ends with them, right? But after that, I think we all know it doesn't end for the families. So
yeah, no, that's great. We've had a few people in the grief space, that maybe have lost a spouse younger and they have kids, but I think that like we built it very nimble. We built it very open and it's definitely, you can make it whatever you want, right? It's basically your page when you create it. And so we are definitely open to any other area where people might be needing organized support.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So we have one final question for you. What can we as a community do to help you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I made it pretty clear. We're looking for connections. We're also about to enter a funding round. So if there are any warm introductions to funding, we are looking at doing that because we do have some platform improvements that we need to be making in the next 6 to 12 months. So thank you. I just appreciate everyone listening and sharing.
Okay, so that was very inspiring 2 presenters today. So thank you guys again for presenting, Jeremy, Amy. So now if you too are interested in presenting at 1 million cups, I should do commercials, but if you're interested, please scan and apply here. We are always accepting applications. It goes through what type of presenters that we are looking for. So really encourage you to do that. And thank you all so much for coming. Please scan for the upcoming events. We keep that updated of just like what is going on in the ecosystem. And finally, social media. Follow us here, and this is where we are. And thank you to the Global Ties team who are in the room and have come back 3 weeks. Was that what you were trying to say? Heck yeah. So thank you guys for still coming back. Really appreciate your consistency. Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming. There's still coffee and cookies, and we have the room for the next 30 minutes. So thank you.